It's lovely to be here this evening to do this. Hapa Zome, it's an intriguing name, and that's actually what got me started. I wonder what on earth is Hapa Zome, and it turns out that it is Japanese for leaf dyeing. And so it's what we're going to do this evening is flower and leaf printing using the Hapa Zome method, which is using a hammer or something else to pound the flowers and the leaves to release the dye of the plant into materials such as paper or fabric. So I'm going to be just using paper this evening, but there's lots of videos on YouTube that you can look up just to see how to do it on fabric. It's the same method, but there are a few additional things that you might want to do to fabric in order to allow you to wash it if you want to do it on something that you might want to wash. So anyway, for our purposes, we're just going to be doing it on paper. It's nice and easy to show you how to do that on my tabletop here. So this is a very immersive activity. It's very sensory, it's very physical. It's a great stress buster, I could say, and it's not often you get to have so much fun with a hammer, can I just tell you. It is a bit noisy, so if you have anyone that's a bit sensitive to noise, anyone in your group, you can make sure that they maybe get some ear defenders to put on, or just some earplugs just to help them with that. But it's really excellent fun, and I hope you'll go away and have a try it out yourselves, because there's nothing like just getting your hands on it and having a go. So what am I going to do? I'm going to talk you through my tabletop here just to explain what equipment you might need. So you have to kind of cast around your kitchen and your house for some of these things. I'll start off with what I've got here, basically. So I'm working on a table, just an ordinary table here, and it's a kitchen table, and I've just got a few things here. I've got a nice mat just to protect my tabletop. I've got a couple of cork table mats, which just help to absorb the sort of vibration when you're using the hammer. And the best bit of the main piece of equipment here is a chopping board. So it can be a wooden chopping board. In this case, I've got a plastic chopping board, but it can be any kind of board. You know, a piece of board would do. You know, a plank of wood, nice flat plank of wood. So you need a good solid hard surface. That's the main thing. And as I say, I've just got these cork mats just to help absorb the vibration. So that's the base. You need something to actually hit the flowers and leaves with. So I've got here my lovely little, what's known in our house as my girly hammer, because it's just a nice size and it's a nice weight for me. I like it. It's not a big heavy one. It's nice and easy to use. So try and find something that you feel is comfortable and doesn't feel too heavy in your hand. If you can't lay your hands on a hammer, don't worry. You could possibly find a rolling pin. You could use that. That would be good to press down and roll, or you could use the end of it to tap as well. Or if you want to try it with a stone, that might work for you too. A friend of mine who's a primary school teacher had her class outside doing this activity, just out in their little school garden, and she just asked them to go and find some stones and put their flowers and paper down and just tap it with the stone like that. So you can get good results with that. This is a nice river stone I pulled out of my garden, gave it a bit of a wash, but it fits nicely in your hand, and it's just nice and easy. It's quite heavy as well, so you don't have to put too much effort into your pounding. You can just let the weight of the stone do the work. So that's something else to bear in mind. What else I've got? You can do this indoors or outdoors. And I was just thinking, oh yes, you can actually do it on the floor if you like. If you've got people that like to kneel down, or youngsters that are quite happy to do things on the floor, if you have a good concrete floor, that's excellent, because that's a really good hard surface. especially if it's got like vinyl tiles or something on it. That's a really great surface for working, doing something like this on. I once went on a Japanese paper making course, and a good few years ago now, but they had us on the floor of this in this classroom with our rubber mallets pounding away at this plant material on the floor. So we had to do a good half an hour of pounding before we were allowed to use it. So that was great fun. It's a great stress buster. So this is a similar idea, but it's a little bit more dainty. We don't have to do quite so much pounding. So you might want a little brush. That's the other thing. It's quite handy for brushing off your paper to get rid of excess petals. And the only other thing I've got here is Scotch magic tape, which is great if you want to actually sort of pin something down and then it easily peels off again. And it's nice and transparent so you can see what you're working with. So that's the main things. I'm going to talk a little bit about paper. So you could use any sort of paper. I'm just using printer paper tonight, but think about using coloured paper and card. I found a paper that's more absorbent is better. So like good cartridge paper or sugar paper would be good because it absorbs the dye. So try and get your hands on some of that. I tried it on this kind of buff coloured paper, but it's very subtle on that. So I would, maybe shy away from that. Get something that's a bit brighter that's going to contrast with the colours of the flowers. And then, of course, you can use material. So anything that you've got, but linen, here's a sort of pillow slip. Cotton, natural materials are best. So cotton, linen, silk, cellulose is good. You can use that too. So anything like that you've got, you can give it a try. And last but not least, just a minute, I'm just going to shuffle this out of my way. I've got just a piece of card on top of my chopping board, and I've got that there because my chopping board's got a very fine kind of what's the word, design on it. It's kind of got a kind of mesh, and that was coming through on my plants earlier. So I've just put a bit of cardboard there, and this little item is excellent. You want a bit of plastic sheeting to put over the top when you're bashing. Keeps your hammer nice and clean, and it allows you to hold down the plant material that's underneath it. As you can see, I've got a bit of an A4 sleeve that was in a ring binder, and that's just perfect size for what I need. So that's a very useful thing as well. So that's all that kind of hardware. And now we come to the plants. What do we need? Well, you're looking for something that's juicy and succulent and full of life. So it's important to look for things that are nice and brightly coloured as well, if you can. So I'm going to take these two things out because they were there for colour, but I'm going to talk you through this little collection that I have here just now. So these were the things that I could find in my garden this afternoon. So there's quite a few things here that would potentially be quite useful. Here's a nice big fat furry leaf from a plant whose name I cannot remember, I'm sorry to say, but that came out of the garden. And then these lovely little furry leaves with lovely, I don't know if you can see that, but they've got lovely veins. So as you can see, this is quite a tactile, well, it is a very tactile activity, but it's also very visual, and it's lovely. You can look in detail at all these things that you're picking and that you're going to be using. So this is foxgloves that are self-seeding in my garden at the moment, and there's always a few of them in the gravel. And I thought, oh, they're lovely leaves. So they've got lovely serrations and lovely texture. So they might be quite good because they're quite fat and they're quite juicy. And then there's these ones which are like lamb's lugs, but they're not. So they're slightly furry. So lots of things to try, and a bit of rosemary. Thought that might be nice, and that would smell lovely actually when you pound it. I tried a bit earlier to try it out, and it smells delicious. So you can think about doing it if you're doing this in the summertime or a bit later on in the year. You could pick lots of different herbs and do it with that. It would be absolutely gorgeous. Lovely. Smell delicious. And the only other thing I want to show you is I've got this snowdrop which I picked. Oh, because it's lovely. The snowdrops are out now. I thought that would be lovely to try on black paper. I don't have any black paper, unfortunately, but I would love to try that on a piece of black paper because I think it might look actually quite stunning. And a bit of a trick here is actually to choose paper or a piece of fabric that's in contrasting colour to what it is that you're pounding. So, for example, these all show up very well on the white paper, and I'm going to show you a few contrasting things later. So, different colours. So these are things that I found in the garden. So you can go and have a lovely walk around the garden, and it's surprising how much you can find even in the middle, well, the end of January now. So there are those things. You can have a quick trip to the supermarket if you're in, have a look, see if they've got anything in their reduced bucket. So this is half price. This is half price tonight. Tesco's, lots of beautiful colours in these flowers. So I think these are about £3 for the bunch. So I thought, ooh, they're too good to miss, and we can use some of these tonight. So I'm going to try some of those. So have a look in your supermarket, or perhaps if you have a florist, you could go in and ask if they've got any flowers that are spoilt or a bit over that they're getting rid of, and perhaps you'd get them for next to nothing if they were going to be going out in the bin. But the last but not least, have a little forage round your house. If you have house plants, and if you're like me and you've got a few of these poinsettias left over from Christmas, I don't know if you can see that. I'll put it down there. It's my poinsettia is getting a bit tired, and I'm getting a bit fed up looking at it, to be honest. So I'm going to sacrifice what's left of my very leggy looking poinsettia to do this, because the poinsettia leaves look great. So I'm going to just harvest a few of these lovely leaves. So you see them here, they're beautiful colours and very deep, rich ones. So there's the lovely green leaves, and there's some of these beautiful red ones as well. So we're going to get a few of these. But you could try all sorts of houseplant leaves, because this is all very this is great for just experimenting. Just have a go, try something out, see how it goes. So I'm going to use a few of these poinsettia leaves, and can do that. So as I was saying, you could do this with a big group. You could do it with a large roll of paper, or you could do it with a big sheet if you're going to be doing it on fabric. And you could do it with a big sheet, or you could cut it up and everybody could do a little square. And if you're handy at sewing, you could make a patchwork quilt. It would be quite nice. Or a patchwork for hanging up and displaying. So here you go. This is how we do it. Get your piece of paper. In this case, as I said, it's just plain printer paper. And choose your leaf that you're going to be. I'm going to do the leaf first because it's nice and easy. It's lovely to do. So, and then put your leaf on the sheet. And put your bit of plastic over the top. Plastic's good because you can see through it and you can see exactly what you're doing. And I think that's nice. It makes it easy to do. As I said, if you wanted to secure this leaf with a bit of tape, you could do that just to make it easier for people that find it quite, are less dexterous and find it difficult to hold it down. Because there's a fine balance. You've got to hold it down and you've also got to hammer, and you don't want anybody hitting their fingers. So you've got to just be careful. So here we go. Let's just start. So it's just gentle tapping, gentle but quite firmly. So you can just start. I like to start in the sort of middle and work my way to the outside of the leaf, and just mash it. I don't know if you can see, but I can see that it's getting a bit wet. No, I don't think I can. wonder if I can move this just a little bit so that you get more of a view. It's maybe just a bit shiny. Keep going, and then I'll take the plastic off and show you what's happening. So it's just gentle. The texture of the leaf change as you do this. And you can begin, I don't know if you can begin to see the green bleeding out of the leaf here. So that's when you know that you've got the dye coming out of the leaf and it's going to go into the paper. Stop there. Just, I'm going to lift this up. So if I lift up the tip of the leaf, I think you can be able to begin to see there's the pattern of the leaf that's been laid down on the paper. And that is how it's as simple as that. You just have to keep going. I shouldn't have chosen such a big leaf, but I'll just keep going. And you just work your way across the piece of plant material. Stalks are quite satisfying. You can bang down the stalk and see it all go squelchy.
Oh, wow.
That's quite good, isn't it? So I'll show you it with one of the larger flowers in a minute or two. It's great fun. It's lovely and squelchy. Don't be afraid if you begin to see it break up a little bit. That that's quite good because it actually lets the dye come out and it's it's not doing any harm. It's just making a lovely pattern underneath. There we go. I'm going to stop there. So as you can see, you can see a little bit of the dye coming out from underneath. So I'll take my plastic off. And with the leaves, you can usually lift them off. There's quite a nice print. You can lift them off and there's my bin gone. With the flowers, they're a bit mushier, and so you can let them dry, and then you can brush. You can use the brush. That's what the brush is for. You can brush off what you've the excess bits of petty and material. So there you are. When they dry, the colours get a bit stronger. So it's quite nice, and you can experiment with these leaves and different flower shapes. So I'm going to show you um, a bit of technique for bashing the flowers because they're a bit different, but they're very exciting. I just put this over here. Some examples that I'm going to show you in a minute or two. But so we'll get another sheet of paper and we're going to pick a lovely flower. I think I'm going to try the gerbera. It seems a pity to bash it, but we'll give it a go. I haven't tried this one yet. Now, here's the thing: when you're using the flowers, you have to cut all the stalk off. So you just cut right up to the base of the flower, so it's flatter for you to start pounding. So you can pop it under there. Find a clean bit of plastic. There we go. Pop it over. Now, with flowers, it's good to begin banging them right in the middle, the most raised part, I would say. So give that a bit of a bash. There we go. And it's quite, these are quite wet. So there's a lot more, it feels a lot more mushy to start with. So bash it in the middle and then work it out along the petals. Right, the flower. see it gets a lot bigger. Right, right. Don't be afraid to go right round again. You get a bit braver the more you hammer, so you find that you're doing it quite strongly. So it's quite nice. Build up a rhythm.
Quite mesmerizing just actually watching you hammer.
Well, great. If that's good, that's good viewing. I'm happy. There we go. Oh, that's lovely. Right. So you get it so it's now completely flat. It's not raised up at all. And you see how much it's about 3 times larger than it was when we started. So that's very nice. Now you peel it off and you'll find that there's quite a lot left. Oh, it's quite brown actually. It's so interesting how these colours turn out because you wouldn't know. Now I am going to leave that. I'm not going to, there's quite a lot, I don't know if you can see, there's quite a lot of material still stuck on there. I'm
Yeah.
going to leave it to dry because I want to see how it dries. And when it does dry, I'll give it a little dust with my brush. And but you might not want to take that off. You know, you might want to leave it and just let it all set in. And I don't know, it depends what you want to do with it. If you want to take that and perhaps frame it in some way, or you want to make, you want to cover the whole paper in lots of different flowers, you can just add more on like that, around about it. It just depends what kind of effect that you'd like. I quite like the look of that. It's quite attractive. Right. Anyway, I'll show you some that I did a little earlier, and we can have a go at brushing them off and see what happens. So, so here's a few I had to go with. And these have got lots stuck on, so interesting. I think I might. So, as I say, you just delicately give it a wee brush off, and you can see that this one has got quite a lot of yellow dye left, so that's lovely. It's giving you quite a strong colour there. I think the thing is just to keep experimenting with it. You'll find combinations of colours and paper and plants that work well. So that was that. This is a nice, this dark one here started off as a little chrysanthemum. Is that a chrysanthemum? A little daisy. So it's one of these ones with I can show you, with a very yellow centre, and yellowy green, sorry, green centre, acidy green centre, and then these lovely purple petals and white tips. And I think you can see that in the way the colours come out there. It's quite
Yeah.
reminiscent of the original flower. So they're quite impressionistic and pretty. So
Can you lift that up just to the camera, just a wee bit closer, Jenny, just so we can,
sure,
yeah,
can you see that? Oh, yeah.
you can see it. Yeah, you can actually see yeah.
See the grades of the color
Mhm.
that's come
Yep.
through onto the paper.
Yeah, I'm really liking this green one down in, well, on our
This,
screen in the bottom
this
right.
one down here.
Yeah, like that one.
Yeah, that's quite good, isn't it? Ooh. That was one of those lovely little pom pom.
Okay.
Wait a minute till I just show you. Sorry, show you what that started out as. So that was whatever. That was that. That was that one. So it was one of those.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah. So you can see that you just squash it. You'd squash it down. You take the top off just as I've shown you, and start in the center and work round, and it comes out like that. So once you've done a whole load of that, you can start experimenting. You know, once you've got your arm in, as it were, and your eye in, you can start experimenting. And I was talking about different colours, contrasting colours earlier. Excuse me, I'll just get rid of this. And let's show you the next bit. So, for example, you can do some. Now, here's one I did earlier. So this is quite a delicate piece. Is it going to look good on this screen? Let me just turn it that way so you can see it. So that was lovely, and it smelt beautiful as I was doing it. Let me just show you. Goodness sake, right. Joan, the name of this flower's gone out of my head now.
Freesia.
A freesia, thank you. So this was a freesia, which I just did the whole stem and the freesia flowers, and bashed it, and then so it's got these lovely colours you can see on there. It's come out really nicely.
It looks
And I think
like decoupage from here. You
it
know,
does, doesn't it? It's got
yeah.
that kind of look. And I think you could frame these up, you know, with lovely, you could mount them on coloured paper and frame them up, and I think they could look really lovely. You could have a very nice artful display
Absolutely.
with these. So that was that one. And then what's the other thing? You know, you could mount them up on cards. This is one. This was a These were rose leaves. I don't know if you can see them. They don't show up so well in here. It's a lot more defined. I think that's better. So these were rose leaves, and then this was just rose petals that were bashed out to make it look like a rose. Don't know if it does, but anyway, it's a bit funky. So we've mounted that up on a greetings card. So you could do that kind of thing, or
Yeah.
you know, make them into tags or something, gift tags. And another little bit of technique, which is rather nice, is you can actually sort of draw a landscape and then just use the right way up.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's it. So you could actually just draw a landscape and then use take your coloured flower all over, you know, just move it, bash a bit, move it, bash a bit, and you can colour in. Now we've got heather covered hills here, and the sun in the sky. So you can use them to sort of colour in a landscape or a picture. You could do a rainbow, I think, with lots of different coloured flowers too. So lots to try out there. What else was I going to tell you about? White and black, contrast colours. Anything else? Oh, yes, I was showing you that I had found some lovely rosemary in the garden. Rosemary, it takes a lot of bashing, can I tell you? It takes a lot of bashing your rosemary before anything comes out. But here it is. I left it in place just so we could peel it off and see how it did once it dried. It's quite tough, but it does give you a nice shape. It does give you nice shapes once you've bashed it. You can really see the structure of the plant there. I think I needed an extra 10 minutes more bashing that to give us a better look. But you can see the shape of the rosemary. But I think you'd be better waiting till the summer for that one when it's a bit more succulent. And what I've seen demonstrated would be lovely are ferns. Collecting ferns because they're lovely and soft, but they've got beautiful shapes with the shapes of the stalks and the leaves, and they are very beautiful if you pound those, and you get beautiful beautiful shapes with those on your paper. So I would recommend collecting some ferns in the springtime and having a go with those as well. Well, I think I've exhausted all my flowers here pretty much. I hope that's given you a few ideas. I did have a plan to actually pound and do a starry night. I was going to recreate a starry night on this piece of blue paper. And I've got lots of little yellow chrysanthemums, and I thought they're quite good because they've got lots of good colour. I just get one of those. So that kind of flower, chrysanthemum's got lovely, beautiful colour. As you can see, it contrasts well with the blue paper. And so, because I'm a bit of a Van Gogh fan, I thought I might try and find as many yellow flowers as I could and pound them onto this lovely blue sky and make a lovely starry night. But I'm not going to sit and do this now because the pounding's quite difficult to do on screen. I'll let you all imagine my starry night here with my lovely flowers, and I hope that you will go away and have a go. Get out the chopping boards and find a hammer in the garage, or go out and find a nice stone that you can use to do it, and have a go at Hapa Zome. Thanks very much.
Great, thank you, Jenny. That was really, really interesting. And I'm fascinated how Zoom actually blanks out the background noise, because I could see that you were actually hammering really quite effectively, but there's next to no banging noises coming
There's no
through.
sound.
Yeah,
No.
as soon as you spoke again, it picks up. So yeah, that Zoom technology is amazing. Brilliant. That was really interesting. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm looking forward to seeing your Starry Night another day though.
Yes, I will do that. I'll do that off air and come back with a starry night.
So now Lorraine has just shared that she's just had a go with some pansies. And I'm wondering, Lorraine, have you physically, quite literally, had a go with some pansies?
Oh, good.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
show us.
Do you want to see? This is my first ever go. I don't know how well you can see. Hang on.
Let's see. Oh, they're lovely, aren't they?
Yeah.
Oh, that's excellent. Very good. So
Yeah.
pansies are definitely on the big tick list for good flowers to.
Yeah, I can't believe how detailed, like it's picked out the two shades of them.
It has, hasn't it? That's gorgeous.
The other thing was I didn't have like a hammer or anything, and I just had this like weight.
That's a good idea.
A kilogram. So I've had a bit of a workout at the same time. But the only thing is, I was doing the end of that. It was weird because it's actually taken out the colour, but like in dots, which was a bit weird. Can you see the dots?
Yes.
Does that make sense? It's kind of a bit
does,
weird.
Yeah, but it adds to the charm, I think.
Well, you're very generous. Thank you.
I think it does.
So, thanks, Lorraine. That was really
that's terrific.
Fabulous. Thank you. Deborah Becker. Hello, Deborah. How are you? She has a question, Penny, for you. If you're using fabric, do you need some sort of fixative, sort of like color fixator to set the dye, especially if it's going to be used in patchwork?
Yes, you do, and I can direct you to an online YouTube video about that. But what you have to do is use something called a mordant, which will fix the dye, and you have to apply that to your fabric before you start doing the pounding. You don't do it afterwards, you do it before. And I've got a note of it here. Wait till I just check what it's called. It's a fix, and it's called alum acetate. Alum, ALUM acetate, and that's the sort of most common fixative for these kind of for natural materials. It works on silk, cotton, linen, these kind of fabrics. But what I've got a few links that I'll put in the email that you get tomorrow after this. And so you'll be able to follow them up on YouTube if you're interested in taking this further. There's lots of people with lots of experience doing this.
Thanks, Jenny.
And so there's they're very good, and it gives you all the information you need about that. So you just have to soak the fabric for a while in this and dry it, and then you can do the flour pounding on top, and I believe it washes, so that's good. Keeps it while it's washed. So nice to see you, Deborah.
And you.
And Deborah was just commenting. I mean, Deborah, please unmute yourself and you can share your ideas for extension activities.
Yeah, I was just thinking how it's great that once you've produced that unique material, whether it be on paper or material, how it's a great activity to extend that maybe for another session. And as you've already alluded to, could be used for patchwork, or could be small items could be quilted, hand quilted, and then made into cards or tags. So yeah, I just love that idea.
Yeah. Yeah, I think doing it on fabric, it does give you a lot of options, doesn't it, to be able to do that. That would be
I
nice.
was where I'm currently starting to work as a volunteer. They have a group called Wellbeing in Nature, which is a split between sort of mindfulness and relaxation practice, but then also with a sort of slot for a nature-based activity. So I think it would work really well with that.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Because it doesn't take very long.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And yeah, absolutely. It's just quite instant once you do it.
Great for anger management.
Oh, yes.
Get it all out.
That's it, absolutely. And I think if you had lots of boisterous children, I think they'd really enjoy doing that as well. If you had,
I tried to avoid boisterous children.
They'd enjoy that one too. Oh, that's great.
Thank you. Now, Kathleen Walsh, do you fancy unmuting Kathleen? Because I think from your comment, you have experienced a wee bit of this yourself, because you.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about what you find works well for you and what you've alluded to doesn't work quite so well for you?
Yeah, it's a great activity. In fact, I'm doing it on Monday for St. Bridget Day celebrations. It's our bank holiday, and I'm doing for the public in a workshop, because we've done a few crafting items and making a Bridget statue. But I've done it with clients in psychiatric unit, and also with people who are post-stroke, who may have, disabilities in terms of arm movement, hand movement, but it's a great activity. They really, really enjoy it, and it's really very simple. So more power to you, Jenny, in showing us the different framing and what have you. The cloth works really well, as does watercolored paper.
Oh, right, good.
Yeah, or not, water, whatever the artistic paper is that you would use for watercoloring, for painting. That's quite good. That's good. But you gave some really good tips, so I've grabbed them all. Thanks.
Thanks, Kathleen. We'll enjoy your workshop.
Thank you. Thanks.
And Margaret Linares, you're going to try it with lavender flowers, in the hope that we're going to get the scent off do you want to tell us a wee bit more about that, Margaret?
Hello there.
Hi.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the demonstration, and it's so simple and so beautiful. I was just thinking that just ideas were flowing. I haven't seen that technique before, but I thought maybe if you could do it with lavender and tap it gently, and then it'll make, I'm thinking it's going to be quite a fern-like appearance, the pattern, and then let it dry out. And I'm hoping that the oils, this is all in my imagination here, but I'm thinking maybe the oils will come out of the lavender, let it dry, and then it'd be beautiful scented paper for her to send someone a letter. Because nobody sends letters anymore, and I'm thinking that'd be lovely. The smell would be coming through the envelope.
That sounds lovely. You must try that.
I know, so it's just my imagination started to go off, but I just found it so soothing just to watch you do it, and lovely, so beautiful. And the pansy ones that that lady was showing, I thought, gosh, she just did that in 5 minutes. It was beautiful. But yeah, I might have more ideas, but it's so creative. I think you could do it maybe in a outside in a sunny day. That would be great to do with clients. Yeah, that's great. So thank you very much. I've never heard of the technique before, but I'm fascinated with it now. Thank you.
Thanks, Margaret.
Great, Margaret. Maybe you could become a pen pal with one of our Kathleen or who now, wait till I see the name again, Christine, whoever, more, you know, we'll become pen pals together using our handmade flowery paper. It would be great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now, Ruth, you follow someone on Instagram called the Dogwood Dyer who presses flowers onto fabric and makes lots of clothes and so forth. You don't know how to fix a dye yourself, which is fine because Jenny shared some tips how to do that, and we're going to get those links shared in the follow-up email anyway, so that's good. But the Dogwood Dyer, maybe she's worth a look if we all want to go and have a wee nosy in at her as well. And Ruth, you also commented that you're not much of a drawer. I can join you in that drawing class then. And you like the idea of drawing the simple landscape and then sort of like colouring in basically. And I thought that was great as well. And I wonder if, do you know how we get all those colouring in books with like the nice patterns and all that, and you're meant to take your time and colour in and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
I wonder that would work quite nicely as well. You know, like sort of like flashing the flowers and you get a really random pattern. You know, start doing like your colour wheel on them and things like that. I don't know. But yeah, I really particularly liked your landscape one, and I thought even I could draw that maybe. So that was good. That was really interesting.
Absolutely. I know. I think that was just a really simple idea, and it just came because of, you know, I was just mucking about with it. I'll show you again. So yeah, so you could just, it's only a couple of lines and a sunshine.
Yeah, yeah. And it's just so nice how it's like, it almost looks like you've got the shading of the sun. The sun's behind the hills, so like you've got the shade happening. I think it's really effective. I think it's
quite cool.
I actually think that should be framed.
Well, indeed.
Put in a gallery somewhere.
We'll hang it in the trellis office for posterity.
That would be nice. That would be nice.
That's lovely. So, can I just say, Lorraine, who did the pansies? Yeah, one of the links I'm going to that's in the email that's coming out tomorrow is to a lovely one where it's a woman has done this. It's a shirt that she's made, and it's all pansies that she's decorated with. It's absolutely gorgeous. So you can have fun watching that. It's just beautiful. But your pansies are gorgeous. They look really lovely. So it'd be good to do that with pansies, violas. I think the stronger the colour in the flower, the better. You know, you can get a really good colour coming out onto your fabric. And was it Kathleen that said watercolour paper? I think that would be good. Something that's really quite porous and got a bit of texture on the top. That would work because it'll just hold the dye really well.
Yeah. Fabulous. All great ideas everybody's been sharing. Right, I've got no more comments or questions actually in the chat. Would anyone else like to unmute themselves and share their observations or ask a question of Jenny or anybody else, because we've got a few experts in the room.
I know, that's great.
Margaret's on to making her own pattern on material and creating clothes. We're going to have a line, Hapa Zome Clothes by Margaret. No.
I was just going to say, I think it's quite nice because, like, you know, like when you use the plants and the flowers, once you start tapping them, because they're kind of like almost a bit wet, it's good
Yes.
that they don't then move around. Because sometimes with things like that, you're trying to hold something still with one hand and bang it with the other, and it's really fiddly. But the wetness seems to kind of keep it
yeah.
stuck there, which I thought was really, really good for people that kind of struggle a bit with all the sort of the dexterity or, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to ask, you know, how soon after do you kind of peel the petals off? Because I just kind of peeled it off straight away because I couldn't wait to see what it looked like.
Well, I think it
longer.
yes.
If it was on longer, would the paper have absorbed more colour, or would it not have made a difference?
Well, I think because your colour's quite strong already, it possibly wouldn't make much of a difference. And the fact the pansy is just like one, it's not many petals, is it? A pansy is
No.
just a couple. It's a couple of petals. It's like one petal thick, if you like.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. With you.
So I think you can peel that off easily. The multi petals, I think is better to give it the good smoosh, and then leave it until it dries. Leave it until the paper dries, and then use your brush to brush it off. And that way, I think you get a better depth of colour with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I was thinking as well, I know someone was saying about you could extend it and make them as little labels. Say if you were like doing an activity like potting up like a pansy, like one pansy in a little pot. You
yes.
could also have, if you got spare flour, you could kind of make one of these as like as a little gift tag, or tie it around the pot with a bit of string and have that as a gift tag, and then write a little message on it as well, which I thought would be quite cute.
It would. That would be very lovely.
Thank you. It's been great.
Oh, thank you. That's lovely.
And Deborah's just added in that she's going to make, you're going to have to do this now, Deborah, a plant of the month. So sort of like 12 different
All right, yes.
plants of the month, and then bring them all together, sew them all together like a patchwork, and then have it as a wall hanging
Oh.
in the office.
Ah.
That'd be nice. So, or you could do, you know, like obviously you could do that anywhere and everywhere, not just for the office. So that's a lovely idea. It's great to have all this creativity together. Nice idea. Okay. If there's no more questions or comments, I'd just like to say thank you very much, Jenny, for sharing that activity with us. Certainly inspired me to have a go. And Lorraine doing that pansy bashing there and then is definitely gold star material. Okay.